Hey friends, it's a beautiful stormy now, and as we go deeper into a space that seems to be unraveling on the outside world, on the world stage, and in our societies, and in our communities, and with extreme weather events, and all this other kind of stuff, the invitation really is, in order to hold the space for this, I know it can seem really, really challenging, but this is like solid science is beginning to back this. The unified field, everything is one, and the animating principle speaking through me is the same as the one speaking through you. Of course, the you and the me are not the same, and that's part of the beauty of it, is how this light gets refracted and we can actually look and see and witness and communicate and create together, right? The thing is that our attention really, 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 really is coming from this inner space, and therefore, in order to be effective, we need to be cognizant, we need to be aware and sensitive of this inner space, which is our space. And that space is infinite, and it's here now that we can actually come from it, be merged, and completely embody it. And then what happens is the mystery and the magic that the outside world is basically the receptacle. It receives that and then brings it into our perception in whatever ways. We're all being called to realize this, our true nature, our true being, and to recognize that the extremes and the sufferings and the conflicts and the fears and devastations and all of this other stuff, which is the stuff of our mortality, is simply that it's like a subset of our consciousness. This isn't any kind of spiritual bypassing. This is actually really truly seeing what's in the way and being able to allow that to be within our consciousness without reacting to it. To breathe and to know that there is more to this than meets the eye. Ancient traditions of Asia, in India, I think in China as well, talk of eternal beings, maybe just a handful of them, right, that are holding the balance of the world in their consciousness as they forever meditate in caves deep in the Himalayas. Now, whether you take this at face value or you see it as a metaphor, because it's true. Essentially, it's true. There is a core consciousness, a pure core consciousness that is eternally here and infinitely present, which is basically holding this beautiful center of the world and allowing it to root. And maybe we're being called now, all of us, to join in that capacity to hold the space, to see what's going on, to see the division, to see the duality, and not to fall into the conflict. I think it's essential to see the conflict, to see it, and see it when it shows up within myself, as well as if it were just in my little being. But whatever I'm seeing in the outside world is within my being. And to hold that and to be fearless. To be fearless and to know that one space, that one consciousness, the singularity that looks out from my eyes and looks out from your eyes, is actually looking out from all of the eyes, all of them. Now, some of those eyes are pretty clouded, pretty dense, pretty turned in the wrong direction of separation and of fear and of greed and of, crazy psychopathic type of stuff. But don't worry. Don't worry, it's going to be fine. All shall be well, because all is well, really. And you might say, well, how can you say this when all this terrible shit is happening? Whether it's victims of this or victims of that. And yes, of course there is that terrible suffering. It's one thing that is experiencing that suffering. Which doesn't mean that we should condone the suffering and do whatever, so I'm just going to sit on my hill and watch and not do anything because I'm a spiritual being. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, as you watch, as you see that, I must, at some point, in terms of it being inevitable, you're going to realize that it's you. And that therefore you have the power, I have the power, we are the creator to end this, to pulse this, so that more and more of our light shows up, and at a certain tipping point, at a certain threshold, the really ultra limited and what you might call ultra evil, which doesn't exist, and yet at the relative level, of course, that's the impact that it has, like a cancer, is just going to dissolve. So that's the invitation. Hold that space. Right now, right here, and it's in the heart. It's in the heart that this vertical and horizontal axis meet. And they're both infinite and eternal, and the heart sits on top of the base, which is the furnace of your being, which is, the creative, the loins, the anchor point in your center of gravity, in the lower belly, the root chakra, if you want, the lower dantian, the legs, and then the feet. Breathe all the way to the soles of the feet. Allow yourself to embody completely. And so you have the stability, which with the equilibrium, and then here the open mind, which is the one mind, the one mind, like water, like ether, whatever you want to call it, just gushing through this little particular opening that you call you, that I call me. Friggin' amazing. Anyway, I just wanted to beam in with this today as I wait for the storm. It's more gentle in this day right here than it has been in some other parts. Sending everyone so much love and gratitude, and hang in there. As Senguenka used to say, the wonderful Vipassana teacher, we are bound to be successful.